Welcome to the Farming Country podcast, airing the latest news, views and interviews from the heart of the Dales. I'm Danielle Daggett from Craven Cattle Marts, and in today's episode, we return to our onsite vets practice to discuss a recent increase in lungworm amongst cattle. We take a moment to savour the outstanding natural beauty on our doorstep and hear from the National Parks team, and head to the ringside for the latest trade talk following this week's high-profile opening seasonal sale of store lambs. Let's get cracking. Amongst the continued building work at the Lingfield site, Sam Bradley of the NFU took a minute to catch up with Veterinary Surgeon Chris Bailey to discuss a recent spike in the lungworm parasite in local cattle, how best to tackle it and how prevention is the best cure.
We've actually had all my own bulling in-calf heifers at home. We've all gone down, had bits of lungworm this last couple of weeks, so we've had to treat them. We have had issues in the past with farmers who only turn the lows out or only turn the dry cows out, and sometimes they can forget about the risk that can be posed to these animals on these mainly housed herds by lungworm. We've had a few issues with that in the past, so just highlighting lungworm as an issue that's people to be aware about and to know about it a bit and just to watch out for, especially at this time of year.
Then what do we need to be treating these cows with?
Lungworms, it's a parasite that causes infection. It lives in the lungs. There's no known resistance to any of the anthelmintics, so any of the anthelmintics will kill it. We tend to, in the industry, use a lot of pour-on products because of the ease of administration. Again, there are pour-on products that don't have a milk withhold, which is important to know about. We've had issues in the past with pour-ons. If you're doing a pour-on, you do need to make sure that it's all done correctly, because we had treatment failures in the past where either they've been put on where the animals got too much coat, incorrect dosing, wet weather washing it off, animals licking each other. The safest option is the injectable, and again there is an injectable out there which will treat lungworm which has no milk withhold. So we've had some farms where they've done them with pour-ons in the past and it's not worked, and they've had to go in with an injectable to clear it up. Obviously the key with lungworm is to try and prevent them getting it in the first place, and that comes up to trying to get the animal to generate its own immune system through the rearing period, and how the grazing management strategies to try and keep the animal's immune system high and reduce the challenge that it comes across, to try and reduce the disease problems caused by it.
Cows and calves have been out and away in the beef herd these days. What do we need to be looking for worming wise? Are they getting up to age, some of these spring-born calves? When do we need to think about worming?
Every farm's different, and it all comes back to the level of challenge and the level of pasture contamination and how intensively managed these animals have been. So there's no one-size-fits-all strategy for all farms. Again, when we're talking about lungworm, it is something, it does happen. We do see it in beef cattle, not as often, but if you do have, especially those first grazing season animals or autumn-born suckler calves, tend to be the ones that you sort of might see in this time of year. In those 9-month-old animals sort of things, where they're starting to graze quite a lot of grass now. If they're starting to cough out of pasture, lungworm's got to be high up on your list of things that it could be. If they start coughing at grass at this time of year, that's probably number one on the list of most likely.
So intestinal worms, are we onto that with your spring-born calves then? Do we need to be looking into them?
Again, it's difficult to say because each farm's different, and the only way to be sure is to actually look at some muck samples and see what level of challenge they've got. There will be a reasonable build-up of worms on the pastures by now, so they will be susceptible to it, so it wouldn't be the worst idea to start thinking about what worm challenge they've come across and whether they might need treating at this time of year or not. And again, it all comes down to the pasture challenge versus the level of the calf's immunity and the age of the calf, whether it needs treating at this time or not, to be honest. And if you're not sure, it might be worth just doing a few fecal egg counts and just seeing what level of worms do these animals have.
Chris Bailey of Craven Farm Vets with Sam Bradley. The vets will be back again next time, ready to answer more burning questions and dish out some top advice. Now, let's talk trade. Here's CCM Auctioneer Jeremy Eaton with a little tease of what's to come at CCM in the coming weeks, and Junior Auctioneer Kyle Hawksworth with the latest from the store lamb sale.
It'll be nice to get back in the working sheepdog field on Thursday the 22nd, this coming Thursday, for really a pilot of a relaunch of the field sales. As everybody knows, we ceased to sell dogs from February 2020, where we went out on a high. Emma Gray sold her 2.5-year-old bitch Megan for 18,000 guineas at that sale, which was a very strong price. But what's gone on since is that, and very heartening, is the establishment of sheepdogs in the online sales. we've seen record after record tumbling from consecutive sales, which has been excellent really. And I think probably we should have known that that might be the case, because the sales have always been very popular with international buyers. There's some buyers as well in the UK that don't necessarily want to stand beside a field up at Skipton and take the chance on a 2-minute trial. There's more information out there in the online environment as well, and so really it's not a surprise that the sales have soared. From our perspective, I think we've always felt there was a strong social element to the sheepdog sales. There's a lot of business goes on off the sale field, bitches swapped, whelps swapped, etc. Skipton's a good location for it, for everybody in the UK and Ireland. I think we felt the need to get back to that. And we also deal with a lot of people who just do not want to sell in the online environment, and that's on the selling front and also on the buying front, and particularly noticeable with farmers looking for a working dog who are not necessarily interested in the nuances of the trial field, but they want something which they can see working, and they want to see how keen it is and make that judgment on the day. So we're anxious to try and reconnect with those customers. We're also conscious that we don't want to undo the good that we've achieved with the online sales. What we intend to do is have the pilot sale next Thursday, but we intend to incorporate into it real-time bidding. I think perhaps in the pre-sale publicity there's been a little bit of a misunderstanding. I think that people should be aware you can come to the sale. The regulations relax on Monday. Folk can come to the sale, and let's try and get some reconnection. Clearly, the impact of the Irish border in the middle of the Irish Sea has had an impact on the entries. Vendors in Ireland, if they miss selling a dog, it's quite complicated to get the dog back to Ireland, back to your home address, if you haven't vaccinated it as if the dog was going to the EU. So in time we hope that that will resolve itself. In terms of the online bidding side of it, we'll have a camera position. I think it's important to note that the worldwide infrastructure for broadband and fibre is variable wherever you go, and one person's bad connection actually can have an impact on our ability to get the information out there. So the auctioneer's voice will be in real time. The image that we can portray to you will be from a camera position. I'm keen to emphasise that it will not be a BBC outside broadcast type of production. It will be a camera shot, and we will pan it as the dog moves around the field. But what you should be able to see is the relationship of the dog to the sheep and how it's taking the commands. We've asked vendors who enter their dogs in the online section to provide us with videos, very much as they have been doing for the timed auctions. And so you could, if you wish, choose to just watch the videos supplied before the sale, which are available on our website, at the same time as listening to the auctioneer real time. But I guess most people will want to see what's coming through that camera. But I urge you to study the videos and use whatever you feel comfortable with, but you will be able to hear the auctioneer singing away, and you will be able to hear and bid real time alongside his voice. Following it up with another timed auction, because it's important to keep connected with those people that have used us. The Irish customers, I'm hoping, will be participating in the timed auction. And once we've seen how this particular field sale works on Thursday, then our aim is to come back with both another field sale towards Tup time. I think we've got second week in October scheduled for that, and then another timed auction offering as well. Everybody's welcome on Thursday. We very much look forward to seeing you either at Thursday's sale or at some point during the next few months, either at the sheep sales or at our October sales, or just simply keeping in touch with us via the online auctions. Well, Cal, you were working around the back of the ring at the opening store lamb sale on Wednesday. What did you think about the trade in general?
Yeah, very good trade on the day. Good show of lambs. Averaged £85, and the year £11.78 up. Better show of lambs than last year probably, but a good trade in general all the way through.
Do you think there was more meat about? Heavier lambs done better in the season, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. There was a fair share of long keep lambs forward, but yeah, there were plenty of medium lambs about. Yeah, there was meat about, but I say a lot of lambs have already been killed that would be 40s plus, but there were plenty of them mid to late 30 weighted lambs in.
Starting at the farming end of it, if I wanted some long keep, continental crosses, first crosses off mule years, what sort of money would they have had to have been?
Well, any sort of lamb was £70 plus really. There were some Herdwicks, Texels out of Herdwick yows, just short of £70. If you wanted a first cross continental lamb out of a mule yow, you were talking £74, £76. If you wanted a nice tight skin lamb, you were talking either side of £80. Medium keep lambs, yeah, you were getting into the 80s, £85, £88. Meat lambs, £90, and you also had some medium, nice, good tight skin lambs. Harold Smith had a run from Dumford Bridge, and they all made £90 to £95.
And what sort of weight would they be, those sort of, and you're talking about something who'd be a nice sort of shop lamb or Belgium type lamb, are you?
Yes, that's right, just not quite pure Bell Texas, but you know, Bell Texas and Texels, all in pens of 50s. You have everywhere in early 30s, and they were £90, £95.
Good trade. Any mule lambs sold?
No big mule lambs about, plenty of long term mule lambs. They were making late 60s, and then the mediums used to be a touch more.
What's your feeling talking to the buyers around the ringside? They'll be back for more?
Yeah, definitely. I think these lambs will keep coming forward. I think buyers should be persuaded to come out and buy the lambs early doors.
How many do you expect to have at the next sale?
6,000 plus. There'll be 6,000 plus.
Are we doing anything else at that sale? Do we get onto breeders at the next sale as well?
Yeah, there'll be 600 breeding sheep, 600 plus breeding sheep at the next sale, and there'll be some good continental yows there.
Grand. Augurs well, doesn't it, for the season?
Let's hope so.
Kyle Hawksworth and Jeremy Eaton there. If you're enjoying the Farming Country podcast and you'd like to feature in a future episode, please email or give us a call. All our details can be found online at ccmauctions.com. When working in and often battling the elements every day, it can be easy to forget that our national parks are home to some of the UK's most precious and protected landscapes. Notably so here in the Yorkshire Dales. Here, we find out how, with additional grant funding available, local authorities are working hand in hand with farmers to both protect and make these picture-postcard landscapes more vibrant places to live, work and visit. Senior Park Conservation Officer for Yorkshire Dales National Park, Helen Keep tells us more.
Protected landscapes include all the national parks and areas of outstanding natural beauty in England. They are our most precious landscapes, visited by millions of people. The government has recognised that farmers and land managers in protected landscapes can deliver on a number of environmental outcomes and are providing additional investment to these areas so that they can make an important contribution to climate change mitigation, nature recovery, the nation's public health, and create vibrant places to live, work and visit. This all sounds like impressive government speak, but it is born out of their commitment to farmers and land managers to help them through the agricultural transition phase post-Brexit. So the programme is focused on supporting farmers and land managers to enable their farm businesses to become more resilient and ready for the future, whilst also improving the rural economy, the landscape and encouraging more diverse visitors to the area. The programme will be project-based and a grassroots approach, with funds supporting projects proposed by farmers and land managers, which in turn support protected landscapes' local priorities. The programme runs between now and 2024 and will work alongside other nationally delivered schemes like Countryside Stewardship, the Sustainable Farming Incentive and Farm Economy schemes. It will also help farmers prepare for the future Environmental Land Management Programme and all that will bring. So each protected landscape will be responsible for the programme's administration and payment of grants. So for the Yorkshire Dales, the National Park Authority will be helping and advising farmers on the programme and issuing grants to those projects that meet the four main outcomes of climate, nature, people and place, and contribute to the National Park Management Plan objectives. So really, it's over to you as farmers and landowners and the local community to come up with project ideas that fit the programme. We are looking for environmental and economic projects, those that will help bring a more diverse income to the farming businesses, improve the condition of habitats or create new habitats, help meet the net zero targets for the future, so things like carbon audits or looking at other things to do with renewable energy and peatland restoration, all the way through to improving access for visitors or creating more tourism opportunities for those visitors. So really, the sky is the limit. The maximum amount of grant that could be offered to a single project is £250,000. Ideally, that will benefit more than one farm business. And grant payments are similar to those under countryside stewardship for undertaking similar types of actions. So, for example, wall restoration or hedgerow planting. However, where project ideas and actions are different to countryside stewardship, then the grant contribution will vary from 40% for things like the development of bunk barn accommodation, all the way up to 100% for things like peatland restoration or for barn maintenance for those barns that serve no economic purpose to the farm. We are encouraging farmers and land managers to consider all the 4 themes of the programme and to try and develop a project that will contribute to all of them. But really, it's not a requirement to hit all 4 themes. We just want you to get a good score and therefore enable yourself to get that grant funding. Where projects are valued above £5,000, then the local assessment panel will review them to ensure they meet the aims of the programme and meet national park objectives and are value for money. The panel includes farmers, landowners, national organisations and members from the National Park Authority. Those projects that are under £5,000 can quite quickly be sorted out and authorised by the Farming and Protected Landscape Advisors. These advisors are there to help and support the farmer and land manager to develop their project. So if you do have an idea for a project, why not give us a call at the National Park Authority and see if the Farming in Protected Landscape Fund can kickstart it into action. For more details, please see our webpage yorkshiredales.org.uk/farming/farming in protected landscapes.
Helen Keep of Yorkshire Dales National Parks. That's it for today. Our next episode will be available on Saturday the 7th of August. From me and the Farm and Country podcast team, thanks for listening and bye for now.